Alright guys, today we're going to have a very quick buyer's guide on the Honor 400 series. So whether you should choose the Honor 400 or maybe go for the 400 Pro, they're both great devices. So let's take a look at which one is more suitable for you. Now before we begin, it's worth mentioning that back in the Honor 200 series, the 200 and the 200 Pro was the exact same size. But for the 400 series, the 400 is actually a bit more compact compared to the 400 Pro. So it's going to be a little bit more different in terms of who the device is for, because form factor plays a key role here. So let's begin. Now talking a bit about the price, naturally the 400 is obviously the more affordable unit. Now this device comes in at RM1899. There's two storage options, but apparently there's a promo going on now for the pre-order period where you can get the 512GB storage for just RM1899. I think that's a pretty interesting deal. You also get a couple of freebies, but moving on to the 400 Pro, this is actually the more sort of like closer to flagship experience. I've shared that in another video. And this is going for RM2699, and Honor Malaysia is actually giving you a free Fujifilm kind of camera if you're into that, so it's a pretty interesting deal as well. But those are the pricing. Now let's move on and check out their designs. Now just in terms of the design, they're both very premium feeling. They both feel great. The main difference is that, like I said earlier on, the 400 is actually a more compact body. Now this is a 6.55-inch unit, and another difference is that the entire back, the sides, the front, everything is flat on the 400. So it's a very boxy kind of feel compared to a more curvy kind of feel on the Honor 400 Pro. Everything's a bit more curvy on the sides, the frame, as well as the display at the front. Now the good news here is that both of these are actually very durable. The Honor 400 comes in with the IP66 rating. That means it's dust and splash resist. You cannot submerge it into the water. Whereas the Honor 400 Pro gets another layer of protection. It gets IP68/69. That means you can actually put it underwater and it's very strong. 69 gives you protection from hot water and very strong jets. So if you're looking for the ultimate protection in terms of your device, that's where the Honor 400 Pro gets it. But again, I think it's really down to the form factor. Do you prefer a more compact device or do you prefer something that's more conventional? This is 6.7 inches by the way. Now moving on, let's take a look at their displays at the front. Since we are talking about the size again, they're both coming in at different sizes. Notice that for the smaller compact Honor 400, this is actually very comfortable to use with a one-handed kind of situation. So if you're the kind of person who really appreciates that really ergonomic kind of feel, I think the 400 is going to be great for you. It's got a very nice display, very minimal kind of bezels on the sides, almost symmetrical as you can see from your screens right now. Now moving over to the Honor 400 Pro. Now this display is also pretty good. We have here a very nice, slightly larger display. It's a quad curved display. That means you get a little bit of a curve at the sides here, and this will actually help you to glide around and navigate throughout the phone. I think it's very user-friendly as well. Both devices get 1.5K of high resolution, so it's going to be great for watching movies, browsing your content. They both also support up to 5000 nits of maximum brightness, so you won't have any issues if you're just browsing your device outdoors like I have been on the Honor 400 and 400 Pro. So they're both fantastic displays. One more thing that you should note here is that they're both using super reinforced glass. That means that it's going to be like sort of drop protect. I won't really drop my phone unnecessarily now, but at least you do have a layer of protection over there. Now moving on, let's talk a bit about the cameras at the back. Now, as you can see, it's pretty obvious that the 400 comes with a dual camera setup, whereas the Pro model comes with a triple camera setup. They both come with a main sensor and ultra wide, but the Pro model comes with the telephoto lens. So just to give you a bit of a perspective, if you're the kind of person who really wants to shoot further into the distance and you want to get really clear photos of like subjects that are very far away, that's where you can only get it on the Honor 400 Pro. Now, if you are just someone like a casual shooter and you don't really care too much about long distance, far range kind of photos, basically I would say that the photos coming off both devices are pretty much neck and neck. Unless you really put them side by side and start nitpicking, I would say that both phones are actually very capable and produce very similar pictures. Now that's not really surprising because the main sensor is actually the same. So yeah, you're not losing out a lot if you're using the Honor 400. Both devices do come with a couple of AI features. There's a lot of new AI features. I've already mentioned that in my full review, so you can go and check that out. There's just so many AI features on board. Furthermore, it also comes with that Hardcore Studios Portraits 2.0, version 2.0 right now. So you can also get some pretty nice portraits using these devices. So that's just something to take note of in terms of the cameras. Now, moving over to the processing power. How powerful are these devices? Alright, so starting off with the Honor 400, this is running on the Snapdragon 7 Gen 3. It's pretty much the same as last year's Honor 200. It gets the job done, doing your daily multitasking on your kind of social media applications. Everything just runs pretty well on the Honor 400, but it's not a full powerhouse like the Honor 400 Pro. If you want like the maximum power, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in here actually gives you plenty of that. If you're going to be doing heavy gaming, editing your videos, your pictures, a lot of those heavy kind of tasks, this is where the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 on the Pro model might be more suitable for you. Now last but not least, obviously we got to talk about their batteries. Now it's quite interesting here that although one phone is larger than the other, they actually come with similar size 6000 mAh battery units. Now that's pretty interesting, but in terms of the charging, the standard model gets 80 watt of fast charge, whereas the Pro model actually gets 100 watt of fast charge, which is a little bit faster. But the main thing is that the Pro model also gets that 50 watts wireless charging. So I know some of you are really particular, you guys want that wireless charging. Well, that's where you can only find it on the Pro. At the end of the day, which one should you choose? Now personally, I think it really boils down to the form factor as well as the kind of experience that you expect on a daily. If you're just a casual user, like a mid-range user, you don't really use a lot of heavy gaming, heavy editing of videos and all that, and you actually appreciate a more compact form factor, naturally the 400 is the perfect choice for you. However, if you're someone who is pretty much okay with the conventional smartphone size, 6.7 inches, and you also want that power, close to flagship kind of power, you want your phone to be future-proof as well, to be able to last a couple of years, now that's where you go for the Honor 400 Pro. Regardless, both devices are actually pretty great value in today's market. Let me know what you think and which you would actually choose. Again, there's a couple of freebies that Honor is giving away. Do check out the pre-order period if you want to get one, because that's when you get the best deal. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope it has helped you out in a way or another to find out the differences between the two. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Do take care, stay safe, enjoy your phones. Bye bye.